You're listening to Parasearch UK Radio. News, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch UK Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
It's Monday evening, and you're listening to Jo and Gemma on the Supernaturelle show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Supernaturelle show. You've got myself, Jo, and we have the absolutely gorgeous Gemma.
Hi, darling.
Who's not feeling that great tonight, are you? You're full of the lurgy.
Me, I'm poorly sick and dying.
Makes a change. It's not me, but I've had a week off, so I'm all rejuvenated and what have you. But
I know. We missed you.
I know, I'm sorry, and I've heard about all your antics over the weekend as well, so I can't wait to hear about that.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, we've got the lovely Chloe Stephenson, and we've also got the equally lovely Lisa Gerrie joining us this evening.
Hiya.
Hey. Hi, ladies.
So, girls, you we know you, Chloe, from quite a while ago when we've met at some other events that we've done, and we've all kind of kept in contact and had a look at your blog that you've been doing.
Yeah.
Do you just want to explain what happened on Friday night?
Hang on. Shall we go to the very beginning? Shall we go to because before Friday night, this is where Lisa also comes into it. Now, Chloe and Lisa are best friends, aren't you, ladies?
Yeah.
And Lisa, the most unthinkable thing ever happened to you, didn't it, sweetie? Do you want to just explain what happened?
Yeah, so my dad got diagnosed with terminal prostate cancer in January 2017, and he had his treatment and everything. The chemo was really effective, and then I think the cancer just sort of got a lot worse. And he sort of deteriorated quite quickly, and then he passed away in August. We had a lot of help, like as a family, from Macmillan, through my dad's diagnosis, and even now he's not here, that's still really good support for me and my mum. So I done a Macmillan coffee morning in October last year, and we raised £1,500 for that.
Wow.
And then Chloe had this little secret that she was keeping from me, and then told me what it was. And that's how it all came about. So it's been really...
So you'd been through the unimaginable, lost your dad. Bless you. Don't know how you cope with that. It must be absolutely horrific. And then Chloe, being your best friend, knows how hard you have worked raising money for Macmillan, and Chloe then has the idea to arrange a ghost hunt.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So, Chloe, this is where you come in, sweet pea.
Okay.
Yeah, so how did you organise it, Chloe?
To be honest, I can't take all the credit. It came into conversation with my mum. Obviously, we both enjoy ghost hunting and doing investigations, and we just thought, why not put one together and dig in a building to be able to accept guests, and obviously every single penny would go towards something. Obviously, it came down to having the help of the guys from UK Haunted as well, and Jo and Sue, because there's just no way I could have pulled off an event that big without the help of the guys.
This is the first time that you've arranged a public hunt, isn't it, Chloe?
Yes, first time ever.
It's hard, isn't it?
It was just so daunting, and I was constantly worrying that something was going to go wrong, or there was just something that turned it all upside down. But thankfully, it went all right.
Would you do it again then? Is this something that you're going to look at doing on a more regular basis now?
Yes, we are. Definitely. Yeah, we'd like to do it on, raise a bit more money. I think it'd be good, wouldn't it?
Mm. See, this is it. I mean, just before we go into the details about the actual event, how much did you raise, ladies?
The total is at £1,005.
That is an amazing amount of money for such an amazing cause.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, I mean, it's overwhelming. You know, the amount of people that came to the event and showed the support, and even after, we were still getting some donations through, which is just incredible.
Oh, that's what we want, though, isn't it? Really, that was the whole idea, isn't it? To keep it going. It's not just a one-off. You've done your bit, you know. Like you said, Lisa, you know that Macmillan supported your dad and you lot as a family, and are still continuing to do so. And I think work like that shouldn't go unnoticed.
No, and it's like when you look at the stats of it, I think it's something like £28 for 1 hour of a Macmillan nurse's time for them to support the person who's going through cancer and their family. So between me and Chloe, we've raised over £2,000 in 5 months. So the amount of time that's going to fund for Macmillan nurse, just you couldn't buy that time. That it's the support that you have from them. It's what helps the person going through cancer and the family, because they're a lifeline. They're always there to talk about your chemotherapy, your treatment, you know, what your options are and your plans. And like I said, the after support as well. They've just been, the Macmillan team in Northamptonshire have just been amazing.
That is good though, isn't it? Because everybody knows just how hard it is when you get those devastating words of, you know, it's terminal. That is probably one of the most heartbreaking times, isn't it? And just to have that support just means that, you know, you've got somebody to be able to talk to, and you've got somebody who actually knows what is going to happen. And it's an amazing charity. It is an amazing charity. And, you know, it's just, there's not a lot of funding really. There's not a lot of people that I know personally that does anything really for Macmillan up where I live. But what you girls have done and raised £2,000 is amazing.
Oh, it is overwhelming. It really is. But it's for such a good cause, and it's just, and until it hits so close to home, you don't actually realise how much they benefit from it.
Yeah, you see, I've not had the experience with a family member, but I have worked alongside Macmillan nurses, and they put their heart and soul into it. And it's not just while they're on the clock either, because if they live near you, they will pop in.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll just pop in on the way home, you know, just popping in, make sure you're okay. Do you need anything from the shop? It's not just your bog standard, here's your care, I'm delivering your care, see you later. Those guys actually care.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they really do. And we had so much support from them. It's just, it just sounds really cliche and really cheesy, but you just genuinely can't find the words to thank them, because what they done for my dad was just, and for us as a family, has just been so amazing. So we'll always be really grateful to them and continue to raise as much money as we can for them.
And on the other side of that coin, you know, it is amazing that the paranormal world can come together and help raise money too.
Like it is, and I've done a few investigations before, and then obviously when Chloe said about this, I was 100% wanted to sort of be involved and go along to the event. And we had a really, really good turnout of people. It was a really good night, wasn't it? And most importantly, we raised a lot of money. So
Exactly.
It was.
So Chloe, where did the location come into it? How did you decide upon that location?
Well, back in September, Mickey, Alex, myself, my mum, Jo and Sue actually did our own investigation there. Just the 7 of us within the whole building.
Yeah.
And we personally found it really active. There was lots of different things going on. And obviously you came with us, Gemma. It's a big building.
It's a lot bigger than it looks from the outside, that is for sure.
Yeah. So it was a building that was going to be able to cater for the guests that we wanted. Obviously the number of guests we wanted. Plus, you know, it's big enough for everybody to not be squashing like sardines.
Yeah.
It seemed best location for us to go to.
Where was the location, Chloe? Because I'm sorry, I didn't manage to make it this weekend because I had my children. But had it have been this weekend coming, then I would have definitely have been there.
It's all right, babe. We paid for your ticket anyway.
Oh, thank you.
It was
there in
Grendon
spirit.
Yeah.
It was where? Sorry.
Grendon Hall in Northamptonshire.
No, that's good.
It's an amazing building, but sadly it's closing at the end of the month. So we're actually the last paranormal group that would have been in there.
Why is it closing?
Due to council cuts.
Oh,
Sod's law, isn't it?
Shame.
It is
really,
actually. Because it's the like the money from the paranormal groups keep it running, don't they, as well, especially if it's booked in, week out. But you understand the government cuts, and they won't fund it if it's not, if it's not substantial enough for them to kind of bring the people in to run it. And I think that's half the battle, though, as well, isn't it? That people don't want to work on a weekend unless they've got a vested interest in the paranormal.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? And when people don't want to invest their time for little things like that, which help build it to keep it remain open, it's just a shame.
Mm. It is. So you've got a claim to fame that you've been the last paranormal group to investigate there, and you've also made, a fantastic amount of money, for Macmillan as well. So that's a massive achievement. Did you manage to get any newspapers involved?
I didn't, to be honest. There was a lot of things that were just minor things building up in the week, but it took over quite a lot of my time because it was just, I started to get stressed, basically. I was stressing.
In all fairness, though, Chloe, it's the first time you've organised. Yes, you had help from your mum, but your mum's not an events company neither. So, you took this and, well, your mum, you took it, you ran with it. And, you worked your little backside off to make sure that everything was there and everything was done. And even when guests were arising, do they arise or do they arrive? That is entirely up to you. But as guests were arriving, you were still, I know what it's like. Jo knows what it's like. You're running around like a loon. It's non-stop. You don't just rock up, wave a little magic wand, and an event is ready for guests. It takes a lot of hard work. Right from the moment you decide to host that event, it takes a lot of work, from insurance to making sure that the location's perfect for the night that you've got envisioned. I can't speak tonight. I give up.
What is wrong with you tonight?
Oh, I'm poorly sick and dying, Anna. Did you miss that one? I'm poorly sick.
Do you need tongue-tied on a night time?
Oh, no, it's because I'm poorly sick. I can't breathe. So, talking's horrific. So, yeah, it's hard work. And then when your guests start arriving, you've then got to make sure that they're all checked off the list, and you've got your health and safety speech, and you've got everybody. And it's hard. It is not easy, Chloe. But what I can tell you, because I was there, is you guys did an amazing job.
Oh, thank you.
She did do amazing. She had a few moments of flapping around like a bit of a peacock, but she was a lot other than that. Yeah, she did really.
We all have those. Even the professionals that do it day in, day out still go, oh my God, from time to time. It's normal.
You know what they say though, if you do something wrong or something goes wrong, the show must go on. So you just carry on regardless, and you hope for the best more than anything, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Get it wrong, gotta stay strong. That's my motto. I live by it.
That's a good motto.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that one. I can tell you that for a fact. But no, you'd worked so hard to get everything set up, Chloe. I mean, I rock up and my card is hanging out the car, and I literally get out the car. It's raining, and I'm having to ring my card out, and you're like, hi, and that welcome, just like that is what you need when you first attend an event. You need a nice warm welcome, and it's safe to say I definitely got that.
Yeah.
So then, do you want to talk us through how the night went, Chloe?
So we obviously did our health and safety speech because there was a lot of people there that hadn't actually been on an event before.
Yeah, there was.
I'd say nearly half the guests hadn't done an event. So that's what, nearly 17-ish people.
Mm.
So how did they manage to find out about the event, though?
A lot of them were friends of mine through social media.
Right.
So there was a couple of people that had always wanted to do one, and I said if I found an event sort of local, I'd invite them and whatnot. So they were Facebook friends, really, and like school mums, and there was a couple of my daughter's teachers there. So it was really good. I mean, but none of them have ever done anything like that before. So that was interesting.
I think that's great, because you've kind of opened up some people's eyes to the paranormal as well, whereas usually it's quite taboo, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know some of the people that had never, ever done anything like that before had some experiences on the Ouija board, which was interesting, and half of them couldn't actually believe what they had experienced. So that was quite interesting to hear about.
So the night starts, you do your welcome speech. We split off into, it was 2 groups, one's at Clo.
Yeah.
I've slept since then, and I'm dying. Just in case I didn't mention it about 1 million times already, I'm poorly sick and dying, everyone. So we split off into 2 groups.
Yeah.
Was you with Mickey to begin with?
Yeah, I was with Mickey.
So what, you guys went right to the top of the building?
Yeah.
So what happened during that first vigil?
So we all went in the larger room at the top, and Mickey had taken one of his haunted dolls as well, Janet. We had quite a lot of hits on the K2 at first, which was quite interesting because we laid 3 out on the floor, but only one of them was really going crazy, wasn't it? Even swapping them around, and then it sort of died down a bit. I mean, they did have not glitches, they had hits on them, so it was just a bit interesting to see that at first. And then it was joined onto one of the bedrooms, and one of the guys went and sat in there, and he said he heard someone banging on the wall, although there was nobody our side banging on the wall, obviously, because that's, we told everybody there that's not what they're there to do. We're not there to put scare tactics in place or anything like that.
Okay, so that is actually very interesting, but I'll get onto that in a bit. So everybody listening, just remember what Chloe just said. Yeah, go on, Chloe.
What else was in there? People noticed a draft in there, but once we looked later on, there was a draft coming through the window.
The window behind where Janet was sat.
Yeah. So it was when we went back up, we noticed the curtains and that, and we could hear the wind, so we put 2 and 2 together. There was actually a door blocked off by the beds that didn't open, and I don't know if anybody else heard it, but Lisa and I definitely heard knocking from behind it and whistling. Although you physically couldn't open the door, because I did try, and I even shook the door to make sure it wasn't like banging itself with the wind and stuff. But it didn't do anything. No. I mean, one of the other rooms was just really quiet. I mean, I don't know whether it was a case if it was the beginning of the night and we were building it up. But then
the lady in that other room, she got a jacket pulled as well, didn't she?
Yes, one of the other ladies got a jacket pulled in the room, like almost like she was shoved.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. But I'm not really sure where that came from. It wasn't it wasn't overly active.
Not for us.
So that was interesting. That something had pulled her jacket or pushed her, either whichever one happened. So yeah, that was interesting on the top floor at the beginning of the night, definitely.
So that was what you had up on the top floor. So I was with, although I didn't stay with Alex, in all fairness, but I was with Alex on the first floor. It's so hard trying to remember back, honestly. It was only the other day, but it's like digging deep in the Algarves. I'm off to the Algarves now. Shall I just go and leave you all to it? You might actually get a decent interview then. I quit, honestly. If I'm not sacked at the end of this show, I don't know what's going wrong. So I was with Alex, and we had the infrasound going. And now the infrasound on its own is, well, it's enough to play havoc with your senses, isn't it? Let's be honest here. It does send you a bit
doolally.
Yeah, I like that word. We'll go with doolally. Yeah, I like that one. So that's what they was doing. I left that room and went into one of the other bedrooms with 3 other people. And we was just sat just doing the basic calling out, examining the room, you know. We could hear a tapping. So we was instantly like, where's that tapping coming from? Is it the radiator pipes? Most common cause, isn't it? So, you know, we was looking at the radiator pipes. There was no noises coming from that. So I went and sat back on the bed and was just doing the basic. If that was you, can you make that noise a little bit louder so we can confirm it's you? And then I was looking at the bottom of the door, and the light, because there's emergency lights in the building, isn't there, which cast a glow under the doors because there's a little bit of a gap. And the light that was coming through was completely blacked out, as if somebody was walking past it, and we heard the floorboard squeak. So me being me, ran to the door, opened it. There was nobody there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Was that the bedroom at the end of the corridor?
Yeah, next to the shower room.
See, it's interesting you say that, because when we were there in September, there were 6 of us in the building. We were waiting for Alex. And I'd messaged Alex because we'd put the code on the door and we sort of got started. And when we were all in that room, we heard footsteps. So we were like, come on, Alex, like, stop messing around. We can hear you. Like, there's no point in trying to hide. And I looked at my phone because I'd sent a Snapchat to Alex, and obviously you can see when people open the messages.
Yeah.
I was like, it isn't Alex. And I was like, how do you know? How do you know? I was like, he hasn't opened my message, so he doesn't know the code to the building. And just like Gemma, we heard the footsteps and saw him under, like, a shadow under the door.
Well, that kept happening. It didn't just happen once. It was happening time and time again. So the 2 girls, so Vicky and Charlotte, that was with me, came and sat on the bed where I was sat, and they both see it. So Mark then says, well, I'm going to lay on the floor because I can see right under that door. I'm going to catch him. And I was like, okay, you know. I ran to that door and looked out, and there was nobody there. And I even walked the corridor. There was nobody there. But, you know, if Mark thinks that he's Usain Bolt and he can get out quicker than I did, then by all means, feel free, have a go. So he lays on the floor, and almost instantly he see the shadow being cast again. But when we was watching it, it was like it would go one way, and then a few minutes later it would go back.
Yeah.
So Mark legs it, and he's like, he comes back, and he's like, there's nobody there. Okay. So we'll note that one, and we'll see if we can get that happening again a bit later, because we then went for a coffee.
Yeah.
And then we swapped over floors, didn't we?
We did, yeah. So
you went to the first floor, and I went to the second floor. So what did you ladies get on the first floor?
So we went into the bedroom where the Ouija board was, and a lot of people were keen to get on that, weren't they? And I've got a new piece of equipment called the Paranormal puck.
Yeah.
Relatively new for me to use, but I thought, I'll give it a go. So these people I don't really know what was going on the Ouija board. I don't think it was anything in particular. It was just movement. And I was sat on the bunk bed, so I was quite high up. I was away from everybody else, sort of thing. And Alex held his hand out, and nobody could see him. And he was like, I need to know what's in my hand. And he was kind of playing, wasn't it? Anyway, he went and put it on one of the beds. Where the Ouija board was, there was like 2 off rooms.
Yeah, the little tiny rooms, wasn't they?
Yeah, and Alex went and put whatever it was, because nobody knew at the time, on the bed. And he went, what's on the bed? So I obviously asked the Paranormal puck, what had Alex put on the bed? And it come up with dollars. Now, bearing in mind, the puck is American.
Yeah.
So to us, we would have just said money. And then we found out that Alex had gone and put an old coin on the bed. So the puck was really reliable in that question, which was quite impressive, actually, because it's only my second time of using it. That was interesting that it had come up with a response which was relevant. I mean, I know some of the ladies actually with names and stuff. I'm not sure about anything definite because then half of us went into the other room with the EVPs, and some even sat on the staircase.
I did the Ouija board as well.
What did happen to you on the Ouija board?
So I did the Ouija board as well, and I'll only ever do it when Rob is there, just because if there's something wrong that goes wrong on it, he can sort of close it down. I've got a lot of trust in him. So yeah, there was a few ladies who I hadn't met before that was on the board, and then I just joined, and the glass just come flying over to me. And Rob said straight away, I think I know what's happening. And I was like, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So the other ladies then sort of said, is there somebody you want to give a message to, somebody you want to talk to? And it came over to me again. So I said, okay, well, can you spell out? And it's out, Dad. So then I said, you do spell your name out, like your actual name. And it spelled out my dad's full name. There were certain questions that I asked that there was only like the answer. And they all sort of really, really positive answers. Every time I dinner, I had to find her back and said, how many things am I holding up? And the responses come through right, didn't they? They were pretty spot on. We said, is there any sort of other messages you've got for anyone? Came out, spelt out my mum's name. So we said, what message have you got? And it spelt out, I love her. And my mum really struggling as well since losing my dad quite recently as well. So I think it was a lot from it as well. It was really nice. And then Chloe had, so it sounds really strange, but Chloe had her nails done just before we went. So she put her back and she said, what colour is on my thumb? So she had a green heart to represent Macmillan, and she had like a blue, peacocky blue colour and said, obviously, tell us what that is. And it came out really reliable, didn't it?
Yeah.
Felt out like the green and the blue.
Yeah. And I was in the other room and nobody had seen my nails.
Nobody had seen. Felt out Chloe's little girl's name as well, didn't it? So it was really, really, I took a lot of comfort from it, certainly. And I kind of woke my mum up about 4 o'clock in the morning when I got home, which I don't think she was impressed with. But then when I told her why, don't mind. But yeah, that was really, really good, really amazing. I've never sort of had anything so active, so clear.
So how did that make you feel though, Lisa? Because obviously it's not that long ago that you lost your dad.
Yeah.
And then to get those messages, how did that make you feel?
I just took a lot of comfort in it, really. I was always really, really close to my dad. He was like my best friend. So without him here, it's been obviously a massive shock. But I've had a lot of people around me that have supported me so much. Obviously Chloe being one of them. But yeah, I just took more comfort in it, really. Just that actually, when I sort of do see these little signs, I just think I can now think, yeah, that's Dad. That's him.
Have you had other signs before now?
Yeah, we've had loads of things happen in the house. From the day after he died, we've had things happen in the house, haven't we? Yeah, really hard things that we just can't explain. One of them, his name was spelt out in the carpet in our house, at the top of the stairs under the stair lift, which was really, really weird.
With a heart underneath.
And it had a heart underneath. And Chloe and her mum come around one day and I was like, look, come and have a look at this. Tell me if you think I'm going mad. Like, I won't be offended, just be honest. And even your mum did well, but Chloe and her mum were both like, oh my God, it's clearly just spelled out like my dad's name. That was amazing.
And because of where it was under the stair lift, it's not like you would have walked on it. It was like, avoided that bit because otherwise you'd have walked into the stair rail.
You'd have walked into the stair lift and you'd have just fell down the stairs, basically. So, there's just been like the odd things happening. We've had like my dad was so like security conscious with the house. We've had like the keys moving in the door. Just certain things that we can't explain. And I think initially I was fine with it because I'd done a few ghost hunts, so I'd been exposed to that sort of thing before. But I think the first time it happened, like my mum freaked. She was terrified. And then we didn't have anything happen then for probably about a solid 2 months, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then mum was like, oh, I wish now like I didn't get so upset about it. And before we knew it, there were certain other things that started happening. I think now she's grown to take it. Don't quite know how she'd be if something happened on a Ouija board to her. I think she's just happy hearing the stories from me at the moment. But it's whatever really works for her. But yeah, I took a lot of comfort from it. It was really nice.
I can only imagine that must be, how do I say this? Jo, are you reading my mind on this one?
I'm trying to, yeah. I'm like, it's, you see, I mean, obviously when people who've passed who are quite close to you anyway, they do try and make those little references to kind of let you know that they're there. And when you mentioned about the keys, and he was always security conscious and things like that, when people actually, when they've passed away, certain things do happen like that. It's just for them to let them know that they're there.
Yeah.
And it is nice. I mean, it can be quite frightening to start off with.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it must be horrendous to have somebody very, very close to you pass away, and I can't imagine those feelings. But I've had a message from a friend of mine today, whose husband suddenly passed away at 33 a couple of weeks ago, and she actually said to me, you know, how soon is it that people can actually come through, and do they know what's happened, and things like that. And it's really difficult to try and give that comfort to somebody, because she's obviously grieving, but she's quite low down in the process at the moment. So she's still quite, I think she's blaming herself for quite a lot of things. And, you know, it's difficult, but I've said to her to keep looking out for the little things that happen that she might not realise that are happening, and things like that. But it is, you know, it is great. And you know, how does it make you feel though, Lisa, that knowing that those little things are happening, that did you actually say to yourself, oh, that's my dad, or did you just not really think about it?
I just think now, initially in the beginning, it was, I wouldn't say I was scared. It was more of like a shock of, oh my God, like this is actually happening. My dad was he was very much a skeptic. He was very on the fence. And he always one of the last messages I actually got from him on Facebook was where he praised me in my job, and he said, you're going to do really well. I'm just sorry I won't be here to see how successful you are, but if there's a way of watching, then I will be. And I was like, I trust that you'll find any sort of way possible, won't you? And he was like, yeah, you bet I will. And I think like now, because I had that sort of relationship with my dad where it was a lot of love, but a lot of banter as well. I think now when there's things happening, I just sort of sit there and I just think, oh, it's just dad. And it just feels, it's only been a matter of months really since we lost him, but now it just kind of feels like when things happen in the house, I just think it's the norm. Mm-hmm. So doing them now, it's not really any different for me. The only difference is getting responses through a Ouija board rather than face to face. But yeah, I just think I just get a lot of reassurance from it really. And
so did you not have any activity in your house at all before your dad passed away?
We've had a few things in there, but that's been another family member, I think, where we've had different things happening that we can sort of relate back. But other than that, there wasn't really anything significant that would make you sort of stop and go, what was that? Or how do we explain that? There was never anything really that we had. And then since my dad passed away, it's just been like keeping there's not really anything that we look at now when we're sort of scared of. It's just one of those things you just think, yeah, that's it, just looking around again. And yeah, but before that, there wasn't really a lot of activity in that.
Bless you. I take my hat off to you, because, you know, just to be able to sit and talk about the whole situation, you know, with your dad's illness and then him passing away, just to be able to talk about it so soon, because realistically, it's not that long ago.
That's 7 months it's been since we lost him. Yeah, it's been tough. It's been really, really tough. Like in the beginning, I was sort of finding things really, really difficult to deal with. There was a lot of sort of recurring nightmares that were happening because I was there when he passed. So it was really, really hard to sort of function, no sleep, and then I was trying not to sleep because I didn't want to have the dreams. So then I think, again, like with the responses that I got through the Ouija board, I kind of felt a lot of comfort of actually there's no need to these dreams that I'm having, maybe that's just my mind trying to start the grieving process, because I don't think I've allowed myself the time to grieve. So I think it's a case of, right, it's like my mind's reminding me of what's happened to start that grieving process again. But yeah, again, they are not bad as but they were every night, many times throughout the night, and that was really difficult to deal with. Yeah, I've had some support, and I've got amazing friends, amazing family. We've got there in the end. So, yeah.
If you don't grieve, though, I think that is the most important thing. You need to give yourself time. I'm as bad as you, Lisa. I went through a really rough time, lost somebody very close to me, and I went straight back to work, didn't have any time off, just tried to carry on as normal, but sooner or later it catches up with you.
Yeah, it really does.
So, but then getting these messages that you're getting now, whether it be at home or on the Ouija board, that's like you say, that's a sign, and you're taking that as comfort. So what more could you ask for, really? It is like you've still got a part of your dad with you. Yeah.
And it's like it was even such silly things, which I know are not paranormal related, but people bought cake and events. Everything that Sue was getting out of her bag was, oh my God, my dad loved that cake. Like, we had his favourite things there, apart from like sausage, bacon and egg, I think.
Oh, I'm glad there wasn't sausage, bacon and egg there. I can withstand cake, but sausage, bacon and egg, now you're talking my language.
Hash browns.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But yeah, I kept saying, I was like, oh my God, my dad loves these, and it's just little things like that where you're at an event and there's left over, and I still sometimes have a thing of, oh, I'll take them home for dad, and it's that realisation, but I can sort of process that a bit better now than what I probably could before.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, the whole event was good. Never had anything like that before, ever.
That's quite good, in all fairness. So I will swap over. So you guys on the second vigil went on to the first floor. I went up to the second. Not just me. There was a whole group of people. And I was holding Janet, because I said to Mickey, is it okay to hold her? Can I become acquainted with Janet?
Yep.
He gave me the heads up, so I introduced myself to Janet, and I was holding her like a baby, and she is the freakiest looking doll you have ever seen in your life, is she not, ladies?
I find it weird that she's got teeth.
Yeah, she's a leather body, no eyes, but she's got teeth.
Weird, she's a freaky doll.
Yeah, I completely, like, she really is quite scary. So yeah. I'm holding this doll with no eyes, and believe me, I poked just to make sure. She's definitely not got no eyes.
Definitely not, no.
Poor girl. But the teeth are not like those ordinary teeth that you would see on a doll. I don't know why I'm sat looking around my room now looking for a doll. Like I'm going to have loads of dolls in my bedroom.
There's some horrendous looking ones though, isn't there?
Well, she had like jaggedy teeth. Do you know, like, how would I explain it, girls?
Like when you see cartoon sharks and they've got like...
Yes!
Or like Mr. Burns in The Simpsons.
Yes!
They are!
So she has got the worst teeth you've ever seen in your life, So she does fit the haunted doll category very, very well. So I'd introduced myself to her. We had Spirit Box running, and some people that were sat on the bed opposite the door were saying that they could see a shadow in the other room. So me and Janet went into the other room, and I was sat right next to the main door to come into the room, and I was facing the back wall. And this is where it gets interesting, because I've not actually spoken to Chloe or Lisa or anybody out of the opposite teams, opposite groups, whatever you want to call them, either at the event or since the event. So I was sat looking at the back wall, and I quite clearly heard knocking.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is why I said that's quite interesting that you guys had that up there, because I heard it too.
it was James that came with Vicky that was sat in there, and he's the one that said that there was tapping in one of the corners, and it also sounded like there was when I was walking through, because I was going through to make sure another group was okay. He was adamant that he heard something like bounce metal, like a stone or something. Yeah, I looked around, so I put my torch, I double checked with him. There was absolutely nothing that could have bounced off the metal. There was no debris or just anything that would have made that sound.
Well, once I heard the noise, I had a look to see if I could see, because you can't just assume that everything's paranormal. You have to have a look. So I went and had a look, and there was nothing. There was no radiator on that back wall. There was no draft coming from the window. The bunk beds were quite solid. There was nothing that I could see that could cause a knock-in. So I said to some of the other people that was in the group that I was in, does anybody want to swap over? Is anybody willing to come and sit in this room? I was like, you don't have to babysit Janet. Quite happy to do that. But does anybody want to come and sit in this room and see if they can get the same thing? And I think about 3 or 4 people did. And then we split up a bit. So I think 5 people, and your mum was one of these people, Chloe, went off into, I think it was room 8. And
behind the door.
Yes. Yeah, the mirror and the bed behind the door. And one of the ladies that was with your mum said that she felt like she was being restrained onto the bed.
Right, that's interesting.
No, I don't know the full story of what happened. I mean, I know that there was 5 people in the room. I think, and I could be so wrong, so tell your mum if I am wrong, I do apologise, and just tell her she can slap me next time I see her. So I think there was one person stood in the mirror, one person laid on one bed, one person laid on the other bed, and I'm not sure what the other 2 was doing, but I think somebody see a shadow in the mirror, and then this lady... Say that again, sorry, Chloe.
I think they tried scrying.
Yeah, you see, I'm not 100%, but yeah, I think you might be right. But I think your mum actually had to help this lady get off the bed because she felt like she was being restrained, which was really interesting.
Oh, how strange.
Yeah, so I should have really have messaged your mum and found out the details today. But being a bit busy. I was hoping that she might have actually told you, to be honest.
Oh, she hasn't told me anything.
So, well, that was really interesting. And then after that, we had another coffee because, I mean, when I say that building was like the Bahamas, it was like the Bahamas. It was boiling.
It was roasting in that building. Absolutely. I don't know why it was so hot. I know the heating was on, but that was something else. That was just, absolutely just sweating. Everybody was just so warm.
Bit of a moist night.
bit of a moist night. It was a bit of a moist night, actually. Yeah, it was really warm. I've never been on a ghost hunt, actually, because I came in my roll neck jumper, my cardi. I was nice and toasty and warm, and I even took the quilt coat because you never go on a ghost hunt without your quilt coat because you're gonna get cold. So I came looking like it was winter anyway, but came looking like I was ready to go to the North Pole, expecting it to be cold. Yeah, I always do. Layers, layers, and layers. That's my motto for a ghost hunt. So when I walked in, and it was like the heat just hits you, and I was like, oh, God, I think I might actually die in here tonight. It is so warm.
It really was.
It was nice, though, because usually everybody's complaining that they're cold, so it was quite nice to actually say, oh, it's really warm tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it made a change, didn't it?
And some were a lot warmer than others, weren't they?
Some of them were ridiculous.
They were it was sweltering, some of them. Like, it's so hot in there. And especially because we had quite groups as well, I think body heat of everybody else, it just got a bit crazy at times.
Yeah. So. Yeah, especially when you huddle round the Ouija board and you're getting everybody else's body heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that point, it is a bit like, oh, somebody please open a window. Yeah. So we went off for a coffee and to cool down, and then we all went to the stair area.
Yeah.
And everybody was spread out along the corridor and all the way up the stairs. Mm-hmm. Do you want to explain what happened then, Chloe, or Lise?
So Alex brought out infrasound in his speaker.
Yeah.
Obviously, there were so many of us who literally took the whole set. I mean, once again, Alex did the infrasound, which made a lot of people feel funny, I think.
Yeah.
Started doing some calling out. There was definitely some whistles and some voices on the staircase. Mm. And then at one point, my mum and Jo ran straight the staircase at the bottom. You can walk along a corridor and there's another set of stairs.
Yeah.
And my mum ended up running up the corridor because they saw somebody walk up the other set.
Yes, yeah, because I was sat at the very end of the corridor, so I was sat near the door that your mum and Jo come bursting through, and just before they came up, we all thought that everybody was spaced out. I didn't actually realise that your mum and Jo had gone after this shadow that they'd seen. I was sat there, and then there was Mickey, and then there was three or four other people just sat around that area. Yeah. And we heard this noise, and me and Mickey looked at each other and were like, "Did you hear those footsteps?" And we was like, "Oh, that's awesome." And then we see a torchlight, and we was like, "Oh, it's a torchlight." they
thought that one of the guests had left the group and walked up the staircase.
Yeah, but they hadn't, because me and Mickey were sat there. We would have seen if somebody else had gone out.
Yeah, they obviously found that nobody had left. Obviously, we are responsible for making sure that everyone's okay. You know, we don't want anyone just sort of wandering off and causing harm to themselves. There was no one there. It's just a bit odd.
Chloe, Lisa, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're having a bit of sound difficulty at the minute, ladies. I've just heard you crackling in my ear, so I've just asked in the chat room, and some of the guests are saying that it does keep breaking up.
Oh, okay.
So that's it, I can hear you now. Right, okay. Sorry, what was you saying?
So yeah, they obviously thought that there was a guest. They ran to make sure that everybody was okay, and obviously they came to you and Mickey. The K2 flickered a few times on the stairs in the middle of the staircase, which was interesting. But I'm not entirely convinced that was anything paranormal, if I'm completely honest.
It wasn't as responsive as what it was when we was up in that top room.
No.
It was completely different.
I mean, it could have been anything. There could have been somebody with a phone in their pocket and they received a message, because it can set off the K2. It's, you know, it doesn't take a lot on a mobile phone or anything like that to set it off. But yeah, there was definitely a voice as well, wasn't there, within the recordings?
And a lot of whistling as well.
Yeah,
a lot of whistling.
Yeah, this is what I was going to get onto, because we did an EVP birth session, didn't we, while we was all sat along the landing and the stairs?
Yeah.
And the guests were asking questions. We was obviously recording, and then Alex played the recordings back. And yeah, there was whistling. Can you remember what was said?
I can't remember.
No, I can't.
It was a very clear answer to one of the questions that had been asked.
Yeah.
And it was very relevant.
I don't know, I might have to get hold of Alex and see if he can remember, because that was, I remember it happening, but I just can't remember what it was. And because I think there was two things it could have been, because I'm sure I heard something different to somebody else.
Yes. Yeah.
But it was still relevant. It was still an intelligent response.
Yeah, you see, that's what I was just thinking. I was trying to wrap my brain to see if I could remember what it was that it was said. But for the life of me, I really can't remember.
I can't. I'm going to have to get hold of Alex. if you can remember.
Yeah. So that was awesome for that to come through. And at that point, Alan saw his first apparition in the shower room as well, didn't he? Thanks, Sue. Sue's in the chat room just popping up. So yeah, Alan see an apparition, which was amazing.
He still can't get over that he actually saw something. He was like, of all things, you know, because Alan is a very reasonable guy. He likes to try and find out, you know.
Isn't Alan a parapsychologist too?
He is, yeah. So he looks at all aspects and does, you know, a lot of things to try and debunk, and which is fine. You know, that's what we're all there for. We need to try and debunk before we can assume anything's paranormal.
Rule 101 right there.
There you go. And when everyone was then on free time after, there was, I think it was Mickey, it might have been Alex, myself, and Alan was sat at the top of the stairs, and he was like, I just can't believe that I've seen something that he can't explain, sort of thing. So that was quite amazing.
Yeah, he was thrown by that one. He completely thrown.
Yeah, it was incredible that he's able to. Do you know what I mean? That he can't explain it himself, which is fascinating.
Yeah, exactly. So then, after we'd done the whole EVP birth session, then, like you say, you know, we went on to free time.
Yep.
I went back to the room where we'd seen the shadow being cast under the door.
Yeah.
And we didn't get it again.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because I was like, if it was, I mean, when you think that you're on the first floor anyway, so it can't be outside blocking out the light. I looked, there was no trees.
No.
If there'd have been a tree, with how windy it was, I would have assumed that the wind blowing the tree was maybe causing that shadow, but there was nothing out the back. So because it didn't happen again, we spent a little bit more time trying to debunk it. Even down to making Mark go walk up and down the corridor for 10 whole minutes trying to recreate it and getting him to lay on the floor and all this stuff that we had poor Mark trying to do just so we could try and recreate it, and we couldn't even recreate it ourselves.
No. I mean, me and my mum did the Ouija board, just the two of us, obviously with Rob, because I will only ever touch them when I've got Rob there. And me and my mum, as we started, the glass was twisting to the point where we couldn't actually keep our fingers on it because it was twisting so much. Unless we walked around the table, we would have not kept up with it. Anyway, it started moving. We started to get some intelligent responses. And the board told us that there was a 5-year-old girl there. She wasn't with her mummy or daddy. She was with somebody, and that she wasn't very nice to her. Which actually links back to an event me and my mum did there about 2 years ago. And my mum had to leave the building because she was really affected, and she said about this really horrible lady that mistreated children. She didn't know whether she was like a nanny or whether it was like a school. She couldn't get that. But my mum had to leave the building. Like I said, she was not good. And this Ouija board, after this supposed young child told us that she was with somebody that used to hurt her, the Ouija board started spelling out an unpleasant name constantly. It was going so fast that I thought the glass was going to fly off the table and hit this lady. To the point Rob was like, take it to goodbye and we're shutting this board now. So we did it, and then Rob was like, this is unbelievable. And I was like, why? What's the matter? He was like, the glass is still trying to move from underneath me. So like this glass was almost fighting against Rob once he'd closed the board.
Wow.
And then Lisa wanted to go on with Mum later on, didn't you?
Yeah.
And Rob was like, no, Sharon is not going back on that board. We are not. So, I mean, you could physically see this glass moving as well. This is what got me. I know people will have their opinions on Ouija boards. You know, such a negative stigma is put out there from horror films.
I mean, this is the thing across the paranormal field anyway, isn't it, Chloe? People have their opinions on everything, and the way I see it is let them have their opinions as long as they respect yours.
Yeah.
And you respect theirs, then, you know, each to their own.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was just, for me, it was so insane to get the responses that we did, and then to watch this glass try and force itself out from under Rob's hand was just, it was insane to witness. And it's one of them things where you feel totally crazy for even saying it, but when you're there watching it, you think, oh my God, like, what is happening?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It was just so strange to watch, like, and even Rob's face just like dropped, and he was like, that's really weird.
Yeah, when Rob's face drops, you know.
You know.
You know. It's not like Rob get like,
It's that old, I'm a ghost hunter, if you see me run, I'd run too sort of thing, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like, if I'm running, you better keep up. I'm out of here. Well, ladies, we are rapidly running out of time. I cannot believe how quick this hour goes. Just remind us again how much you raised for Macmillan.
So it's £1,005 that was raised for Macmillan.
See, that is absolutely awesome. You should be so proud of yourselves. You've done an amazing job. Honestly, I take my hat off to the pair of you. How can people donate if they wanted to donate to Macmillan?
We were going to set up a Just Giving page for it, but I know sometimes they do get shut down after a while if they're not used actively enough, and then people just get their money refunded. So I think I would say, if you want to make a donation to Macmillan, it's really easy. Just go onto their website and you can donate directly on there as well. Pay the money in your bank, do it at your bank. There's so many ways that you can do it. So yeah, if anybody wants to donate, you know, just that's where the money's going that we've raised, isn't it? So yeah. It'll all go to the same place. But yeah, if anybody just want to donate, it'd be much appreciated.
Ladies, honestly, right. Oh, actually, before I actually forget, just to confirm, Chloe, you are going to be hosting more events.
Yes, she will.
I will be looking into it, yes. I will now have to find a new venue, but definitely something we're going to look into in the future. And like I said, I definitely couldn't have pulled it off without the help of UK Haunted and that, because they were absolutely fantastic, giving up their time to help me out.
Yeah,
massively.
They really...
Yeah. The boys, bless them, Mickey and Alex, they are total stars. And, you know, they both raise money for charity themselves as well. So,
yeah.
You know, 10 out of 10 to the boys, because, like you say, without their help.
Absolutely. I mean, it was so appreciated that they were, I mean, so willing, and, you know, they did above and beyond to help out with the event. So it's,
I think just having them there on the night as well, they've run a lot of events herself, just if Chloe needed that bit of guidance or, you know, a question answering or something, or someone to just take control if she was having one of her moments.
In all fairness, though, Chloe, you didn't need anybody to take over. You didn't need anybody's help. You had that, girl. You smashed it.
Oh, thank you.
Really good.
A massive shout out to Sharon, Jo and Sue and Rob, because as you say, you know, they was all there to help you as well. So massive well done to those guys too, because everybody worked so hard.
Yeah, they did. And if you have us back, Gemma, we'll do another radio with you when we get our next event sorted to promote it.
Yeah, you're more than welcome anytime.
Well, I'm going to be there the next one. I'll be there the next one. I just feel a bit, obviously, because you three have all had your own personal experiences. It's kind of like, oh, I can't even join in on this bit because I don't know what happened.
Well, you should have come with me.
I know, but you see, you've got my kiddie winkles, so
I should have just put them in the cupboard.
Yeah, I think their father would have field day if I did that.
Put them in the cupboard, call them Harry Potter, and the job's a good one.
I wish.
Chloe, Lisa, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, girls.
Thank you.
Jo, over to you.
Oh my God, why do you always do this to me at the last minute?
Everybody's sick of my voice.
No, they're not at all. Don't lie. But you guys, you can catch us every Monday night on Spreaker at Parasearch Radio. And also there are other shows on every night of the week at 9:00. And if you missed this, then please head over to YouTube and click like and subscribe. Did I say that right?
Click
Maybe not.
like, share, and subscribe.
I knew I got share on somewhere.
Yeah, it's all right.
So you've sprung this on me, and I'm like, I usually let you do it because I'm like, oh.
I know, but I keep getting my words muddled up and I can't even get them out. And I've already been told off in the chat room for sniffing away. So I don't push it any further.
So yeah, guys, if you happen to miss this, then you can catch up with the shows. And apart from that, that's everything from me tonight.
Well, guys, it's good night from me too. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.